All right, we are ready as we continue on for the AI Plus Expo for National Competitiveness 2025. We are in our second session of the AI Plus Career Stage, and we are very excited to bring to the stage the Head of Education and Human Resources Directorate at the National Science Foundation. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. James Moore.
Good afternoon. I am delighted to be here. On behalf of the National Science Foundation, I'm going to try to take you along a ride of joy and excitement, because this is an agency that has a long storied history of making advancements in scientific inquiry, discovery, and innovation. Long before it was popular, we were making investments in AI in the 1960s. And we like to think we helped to proliferate where we are today. And we hope to continue to move us to the new frontier in our investments. For those who are not familiar with the NSF, the National Science Foundation, can you show of your hands? Okay, a few. NSF, it would be great if we had a space in the airport like NASA. Most people know about NASA, but don't always know about NSF and how we enable many of the emerging technologies that we enjoy today on a day-to-day basis. NSF is an independent agency. We were founded in the 50s, during the time Russia launched the Sputnik. And in fact, we just celebrated 75 years on May 10th, 2025. So I think that deserves a hearty round of applause. All right. So if go to the next slide, please. You know, long before it was popular, as I said, we were making these kinds of investments in AI. And one of the areas of AI that we're very proud of are our investments focusing on our AI institutes. It's over $500 million of investment in AI. And these institutes are supposed to move us to the new frontier, which I'm excited, being the Directorate for the STEM Education Directorate. 5 of the 27 AI institutes focus on education. And many of them are going to help us move, and they provide professional development for teachers and advancement. And a big gist of the education AI institutes is to use AI to advance teaching, learning, and research. And real-time research is taking place. Not only that, we bring teachers in and they have research experiences, professional development, curricula being developed that can be proliferated and cast all throughout the United States. One particular project, I like them all, so I don't want you to go back and say he only likes one of the projects. But I like them all, but one in particular. If this project realized what the investigators proposed, it would take us to the new frontier. For example, at the University of Buffalo, they have a project that's focusing on speech and hearing pathologists or professionals. And they propose many things in that project. 5 major things, but 3 that I really, really care about. One, if you don't know this, there's a dearth of speech and hearing professionals all across the country, and particularly in some of our most under-resourced, underserved schools. So it's a mechanism that we now can have opportunities for those under-resourced schools to be able to use AI for speech and hearing. 2, the second big challenge, even if you have a speech and hearing professional in some of these schools, they're overwhelmed because of the ratio between the speech and hearing professional and students is so high. So in turn, students won't be adequately served. Even if you got one, sometimes you can get a diagnosis, but you're not able to get an intervention. So AI will focus on assessment, but not only assessment, but intervention. And the third component is using ChatGPT. If you know anything about 504 plans or anything about IEPs, individual education plans, they can be very time consuming, rightfully so, to ensure the individuals are getting the kind of accommodations. but now you can use they're working to use ChatGPT for note taking. These are the kinds of things that we enable at NSF, and certainly we hope that you'll peruse our website so you'll get even more familiar with the kinds of work that we fund. We also fund our NSF Research Traineeship Program. It is a program that funds emerging technologies, AI, but it funds other things. But because of the emphasis on AI, many of the things in the portfolio focus on AI. It's a way to foster convergence, interdisciplinary work, bringing graduate students together, fellowships that individuals can participate. Over the last 5 years, there's been a proliferation of certificates, stackable badges, undergraduate programs, graduate programs that are now focused on AI. But we're still, if you really think about it, we are not proliferating the professionals at the rate that we need to. And in turn, we're vigilant in our quest and our focus to proliferate individuals who will be able to work in any sector along every continuum of education, so they'll be prepared. Some may not work in AI, but we know AI is going to change the way we live and engage the world on a day-to-day basis. And my own children teach me that every day. And particularly when my daughter just sent me something too long ago and said, ChatGPT said I'm worth so-and-so amount. And I said, ChatGPT is delusional. Nevertheless, if we can go to the next slide. These are just some of the many platforms, array of programs that we have, but one in particular is this program called iTest, Innovative Technology Experiences for Teachers and Students. We have a pretty growing portfolio that focuses on K-12 professionals, and what we're so excited about this new executive order. The executive order focuses on AI and youth. And in fact, in many ways, I see our whole entire portfolio in that space. It's going to give us any chance. People, there's lots of excitement. And as you can probably see, the people who clap the loudest for me today are my NSF AI gurus. If you would raise your hand, my NSF colleagues, you should raise so they can see. So if you're looking for funding in the AI space, you go talk to them. And you say, James sent you to you. Because they're really outstanding people. We're in the business of giving out money. We live vicariously through our investigators, right? We live vicariously through our investigators. So for us to realize our noble mission and vision as an agency, we have to make sure we fund the right people, right? The right people to do the right work so we can move to the new frontier. I believe we have some of the right people in here right now and across the country that can help us accelerate innovation in AI. If you go to the next slide, Victor. Our Graduate Research Fellowship Program, the college professor in me, I was looking for a lectern, so I'm a little discombobulated because I don't have my lectern. So metaphorically, I have a lectern. So imagine that. That's what artificial intelligence is about, imagination and stretching you and moving you. But our Graduate Research Fellowship Program, how many are familiar with the Graduate Research Fellowship Program? It is the oldest program that we have. It was founded in the 1950s. And it's produced so many Nobel laureates. Nearly 50 Nobel laureates started. They were originally a Graduate Research Fellowship recipient. We receive about 14 to 15,000 applications. On average, we fund about 1,500 to 2,000 fellows every year. And this, you get 5 years to fund, 5 years to spend 3 years of funding. and the stipend is $37,000. So if you have a student, we definitely want them to apply to our graduate research fellowship. We're hoping that many of these students, because we know AI cuts across every discipline, whether we're talking about bio, or whether we're talking about quantum, or whether we're talking about education research, methodology, AI is going to be cut all across it. You're only limited by your imagination, and these students bring an imagination, and they are part of new frontier work that we think can help us move the envelope. Training tomorrow's workforce. This is another one of our little darlings. It's called Advanced Technological Education. It's been around for 30 years, and it's an investment in middle job skills. Those who might need a little bit more than a high school diploma, but not quite a college education. Dual enrollment, career and technical education. There are over 20 million young people in career technical education. In places where I built my career, some of the programs and curricula are antiquated. We're preparing students for occupations and careers across the country that may not be in existence. And we want to make sure that AI, these students, these teachers, these communities in remote and rural communities across the country, that they have access to advance in AI. And so advanced technological education, we funded 66 centers, over 24,000 students have benefited since 2023, and over 766 institutions and organizations are part. In fact, Miami-Dade College, we recently funded a year ago, AI Institute to ensure that we can produce a groundswell where community college students have access to cutting-edge research as well as workforce development opportunities. A new program is a collaboration with our new directorate, TIP, Technology, Innovation, and Partnerships with the Directorate of STEM Education. And it focuses on, we've had 3 first awards granted in 2023. We have 3 tracks. And we focus on individuals, like, for example, Jimmy might have just said, Jimmy just got his degree, but he has a liberal arts education, and he still wants to be able to, he want to upskill, he want to retool so he can go in the AI space. The experiential learning gives the individual that ability to be able to upskill. Or maybe you just came out of high school and you want to be in a training program. We fund investigators through the experiential learning for emerging novel technologies. I said the whole name, but we use a lot of acronyms, and I didn't want you to use acronyms because you would have been so focused on trying to figure out what the acronym means. So another one of our darlings, and this literally has transformed the nation and has proliferated a number of cybersecurity professionals and across a variety of disciplines, whether it's in information systems or engineering or in the business sector. We train individuals. This is a darling. It's a program that I would definitely want you to leave. We supported over 4,600 students, and you get a stipend, but you got to give service to the federal government and work for one of our federal agencies. We work with you to get a clearance. Now, you have to have a good record, got to have a clean record, because you know that's a mandate, a prerequisite to be able to go in that space. We're hoping to do more advancement in this because we know there's a commingling relationship between cybersecurity and AI and cybersecurity. So stay tuned because something is about ready to happen that's going to be transformative, which we believe is the 2.0 version of that program. If you want to learn more about NSF, this is a drive-by. It's to whet your palate, if you will. So you will go to the website. So you will reach out to our esteemed leaders in the room, so you can think about what proposal you want to put together, so you can help us advance our mission in the AI space. Thank you, thank you, thank you for what you do. Thank you, thank you. Questions? 5 minutes for questions? And if I can't answer, I'm gonna ask my team to feel free to interject. My mom always said, a closed mouth can't get fed. Yes, ma'am. Tell us where you're from and tell us a little bit before you ask your question. Well, thank you for that question. She asked me, she's a very seasoned professional, and it sounds like she wants to pivot in her career to go in the AI space. The program that I talked about called Excellent is one of those very programs that help people pivot. And some of it is a certificate program, it could be a degree program, or if you were thinking about that, you might say you want to advance your education. Even the cybersecurity scholarship for service program. I didn't really give you all the details, but it pays full tuition. And for undergraduate students, you get $27,000, $27,000 for a graduate student, $37,000 for a graduate student. And if you say, well, where are the schools? You go to our website, and there's a heat map that tells you all of the institutions that has a cybersecurity scholarship for service grant. And you can go to our website. All the programs that we fund, we have a heat map that tells you every region, every state where we fund. And you can reach out to those individuals. We wouldn't be the one that necessarily, we go through a competitive grant process, and people submit proposals, and they carry out the work that we're trying to realize in the agency. Anything else you would like to add, Victor? Nope. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Seniors in high school? Oh, seniors. We don't really categorize in that range. We focus on K to gray. We didn't put no age on it. Some of us gray in high school, right? So we have a range of different programs that you can tap into. Yes, sir.
You offer opportunities for veterans, and then if veterans have used the Montgomery GI Bill, sounds like they're federally funded, right?
Yep.
So does that affect the application process as well?
I don't think it affects the application process. However, we have a range of programs that really targets veterans. Veterans get priorities in the agency, and we have a range of programs, what we call research experiences for veterans. And some of our investigators, they submit proposals that focus specifically on veterans and or their spouses. Yes, sir. Cutting edge programs in EDU. I'm not saying it because he's here and the whole team is here, but our scholarship for service program, if I had an additional $1 billion, I would put it into that program. I'm telling you, if I had another $1 billion, I would put it into that program. If I had another $1 billion, I'd put it in our graduate research fellowship program. If I had another $1 billion, I would put it in scholarships for science, technology, engineering, mathematics. It's for Pell eligible students, right? That program has enabled students who are Pell eligible to realize their dreams to be scientists, engineers, and education researchers. So there are a number of programs. Our AI institutes, they're worthy of you taking a peek at. because collaborations can be spurred by just reaching out. For those, also we care about teachers, especially teachers, educators who work in under-resourced, underserved communities. And we have a big interest in rural and remote communities. We all know that all AP is not created equally. You might have AP, but everybody may not have the same access to be able to realize their dreams. We're an organization that is trying to solve grand challenges of our time. And we know if you don't have access to a quality education, particularly in STEM, it's going to be very difficult to solve some of the grand challenges of our time.
We have time for, we're actually out of time.
Out of time.
We got time for one more. Well, for this gentleman, we absolutely.
All right.
One more question, absolutely.
Okay. He asked me, there's a lot of funds going out for research. What are we doing for dissemination and translation? Well, we have a new program as a result of the last at Chips and Science that emerged out of discussions that we had like this. It's called Translation and Diffusion. See, what we learned, in particularly some under-resourced schools, you can create emerging technologies that can change the world. But some of our rural and remote communities, it's like digital deserts. It's like being in an underdeveloped nation that you got computers, right? You have computers, but the computers, the Wi-Fi is so spotty, right? So 3 things that we are keeping in mind in all the things we make investment. 1, low cost. We want technologies, we're trying to make investment in technologies that are low cost and accessible to the nation. 2, technologies that use low broadband or very minimum broadband. Because if it uses the top of the line, it's probably not going to be able to be utilized in my home state where I grew up, in some of the low country of South Carolina, or where I work in Ohio, in Appalachia. It probably is not going to be able to. And the 3rd thing, we got to make sure that we offer high quality teacher professional development. Because you can create it metaphorically, it'll just stay in the closet if we don't make sure that we bring all along in this process. I can assure you, in spite of what people may think, we're vigilant and focused on our quest to ensure that opportunities exist all across America so America can continue to realize her long story dreams and aspiration of being a leader. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.